it been since we've been back at this angle? Hey! It's Romania Black, and it's been a while since the camera has faced this direction, but I realized that this morning. I should have talked about it last week, but I went to go set up my camera that's over there, where you guys usually see the angle from, and I went, wait a minute, we have to read the final volume online. I have to face you all this direction, so this feels weird. I'm sure you all are grateful for the better quality of the camera, but yeah, also... I'm wearing this wig and being Griffith one more time because, one, I don't know other opportunities where I will get to wear this wig, so this is me utilizing Patreon funds to the fullest. But also, someone had pointed out with volume 39, they're like, this is really making me uncomfortable having to watch you as Griffith this entire time, so if I have to suffer through this volume, you all have to as well. Okay, full disclosure, it's been, no joke, nearly 3 weeks. 3 weeks, maybe close to a month since I've read volume 41. I needed a break. I was reading ahead and doing all that, and then I needed to stop and collect myself because volume 41 was rough. Have I gone back and reread it? No, because I don't want to make myself mad. I obviously remember all of it. How could you not? But I wanted to go. I read the guidebook last week, so we did that. And went through there. I want to talk real quick too. I realized in the reaction I was very bamboozled because I was like, what the fuck? And so that whole segment of the cuties of Berserk and the dark humor. Look, I love dark humor. I love weird off the wall humor and bizarre humor and morbid humor. I'm here for it. But it has a limit before it becomes tasteless and before it becomes possibly inappropriate and to the point where you're like, maybe we shouldn't do that. And obviously we live in the 21st century. Let's be real. We can acknowledge jokes of the past and been like, well, that was a different time and people were a little bit ignorant back then and didn't quite understand like what those jokes do for audiences, particularly of specific cultures, or in this case, I am not condoning the jokes in that guidebook that are making tee-hee ha-ha jokes concerning the sexual assault that occurs in this series, and also the potential pedophilia involving the young men as well. Like, I was so thrown off last week by the guidebook in that moment. I was like, oh God, I was like so shocked. And then I told the moderators about it and they were like, what the F? Because they hadn't looked at the guidebook at all. And I was like, yeah. And here's the thing. That guidebook, and I'll probably talk about it when I eventually get to the video essay, I will probably talk about that guidebook. It is not necessarily Miura that created that guidebook and that particular part because they didn't do any new illustrations or anything. It was just the editors and the publishers cobbling that together. But I do think that says a lot because part of the video essay that I wanted to talk about was how even if Miura did not have that intent, people have taken that content and made it have that intent. And that can be reflexive on the toys and merchandise that get produced from Berserk, which I want to talk about in the video essay. It can be referring to how the fandom especially takes that content and rolls with it in potentially problematic ways, which we'll talk about in the video essay. But definitely in this guidebook, obviously Miura was like, yeah, sure, make a guidebook. I guess I'm going to get royalties from it, so sure. But I don't know if Miura... What's so frustrating is Miura is not alive anymore, so we can't just go interview him and say, hey, did you approve of those things in the guidebook? I'm sure his answer would probably be, and I'm assuming would be like, well, I didn't exactly approve this. They kind of just did it, and I found out about it later. I'm assuming that's the case because if Miura was okay with that, I would be a little bit like, are you missing the forest for the trees a little bit? So I don't know. I want to make very clear, because I don't know if I made it clear last week, I do not support any of that narrative. Anything that makes light of sexual assault and makes jokes out of it is not appropriate, especially for survivors or people that have to deal with that every day. That is not acceptable. And it is not acceptable for child pornography or pedophilia. And that was dangerously skirting close in that segment. And I was like, oh, No, and I hate, people in the comments will probably make the excuse, it's just dark humor. No, it's just wrong is what it is. So let's be clear. But that just completely threw me off, and I'm still thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God. So it is what it is. Maybe that's why some people were like, don't read the guidebook. I was like, but I'm a completionist. We have to. Speaking of which, we're on the last volume of Berserk. This is Mori's first volume that they're picking up. I've said this before for several weeks now, but I feel for Mori. I really do. Because especially after reading the guidebook and knowing that a lot of what Miura did was done during the drafting phases and the actual illustration phases. Like, if you didn't watch last week's video, he talks about in how as he is drawing the panels, he is figuring out the dialogue as he's in the moment constructing. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually pretty impressive. But what that tells me is that I'm assuming, again, these are all assumptions, it's conjecture, it could completely be baseless, and maybe there's evidence somewhere that states otherwise. I'm going to have to research after this volume in my ongoing journeys with Berserk. But what it's telling me is that Mori probably just got notes and draft ideas and concept sketches and like a hodgepodge of here's what I got. Here's what I'm thinking for the rest of Berserk. Here you go. And Mori is going to have to fill in all the gaps. And for a story that's nearly 30 years long, that's a lot of gaps to fill. And if Miura didn't write down any dialogue, which is your central, like, characters communicating with one another and creating, plot and creating story and narrative, if Miura gave you no dialogue and you've got to think that all up yourself of what you think these characters are going to say, I mean, it's fan fiction at this point in some part, if that's the case. But also, this really does become Mori's story. And I'm sure because of that, the guidebook was really illuminating, especially into Miura's thought process and the way that he constructs. In my mind, these first couple volumes that are going to come after Miura's content, like volume 42 and volume 43 when it gets completed, regardless of what the plot elements are, which I'm terrified about. I mean, it's just Griffith and Elfhelm, no big deal. But I'm sure that these first couple of volumes are gonna be a lot of trial and error from Mori from a writing standpoint, because he's gonna have to figure out, okay, how do I get into these characters' heads? How do I embody these things? What do I do with this? I've got these iconic characters. I have to make them come to life. I'm not Miura. I don't know what's going through his head as he's doing this. So I've got to do my best to imagine what my best friend would be thinking, but I'm not him. So what I'm saying this to get to the point of, I anticipate this volume. I anticipate it being rough because Griffith's an Elfhelm. And we just found out that he transforms into the Moonlit Boy every month. It's like, well, okay. So that it's going to be rough because of that, and for a lot of reasons. But it's also going to be rough because I anticipate the dialogue. I anticipate this being like riding a bicycle. Like, Mori's testing things out. He's getting into the groove of things. And I'm sure that, you draft and you practice things before you put into practice. But, you probably peer review with your friends, but everything seems hunky-dory. And then when you let the actual chapter out and fans are like, well, this doesn't seem like Miura's Berserk anymore. Well, it's not going to. It's Mori's now. Mori is the storyteller. It's like you exchanged the narrator for some other narrator. So even if they grew up together, live next door, have been best friends forever, whatever the case may be, because you've changed narrators now, it's going to be a different story. And so, I mean, your options were, and I'll say this in the video, your options were either to just let Berserk end or to try to continue it. And there's arguments for both options. I could see a lot of people looking at the very last page of volume 41 and going, stop it right there and just leave it all ambiguous. I would hate that personally. I would hate that. I want to know what Miura's ideas were. I want to know what he had in mind. I do feel like I understand where a lot of readers come from, where they're like, oh, just end Berserk here. It's ambiguous, it's open-ended, we'll see where it goes. But then it's not just the completionist part of me that would want the story to continue, and it's not just me being a greedy fan wanting the story to continue, but it's also me being like, I know, and I'm sure Mori knew, that Miura had all of this in his disposal, all of these notes, all these plans, and to just let it not be brought to light for fans to see does feel like a disservice. Now, what Mori could have done is just take all those notes, take all of that and compile it into a little anthology, publish it out and say, here's how Berserk was gonna end according to Miura, and then just be done with it. You could have done that. Could have done that. Is that profitable? No. But also, I kind of understand Mori coming from the fact of not just looking at it from a capitalist standpoint, but I could also see Mori being like, I know Miura wouldn't just want me to bundle it all up, package it out, and put it out there and put a stamp on it and go, because that would feel a little bit disingenuous to his fans who've waited 30 years, and it's like, well, here's his notes. I don't know. You figure out how it was going to end. I could see, again, there's reasons to, and there's reasons for all sides of the argument, and you have to make a choice. And Mori made a choice and said, I'm going to finish it because that's my best friend. That's what they would want. And I'm trying to serve Miura's best interests. And it is a thankless job because, like I said several volumes ago, whatever happens from here on in, I understand, coming from a writing standpoint and coming from a creator standpoint, that Mori is just trying to do his best to honor his best friend's wishes. And what we don't know as the audience is how much, what's the ratio of everything Miura gave him to what he's filling in the gaps. That's the part that's tricky because we as the audience don't know that. We're just like, oh yeah, we just, how much of it's Mori, how much of it's Miura? We don't know. But I feel for him because no matter what happens, no matter if a plot choice is Miura's idea and he's wrote it down and for Mori to adapt, or it's Mori's filling in the gaps, whatever happens, I don't think Miura's going to get blamed for it. I think Mori's going to get blamed for it. If audiences are not happy with the decisions Miura had made, and I've brought Whiteboard Kun out for the end of this to kind of go over the good, the bad, and the ugly, that's what we're going to do, is that Miura's created this very complicated, complex story. And what happens with complicated, complex stories, and when you read them over a long period of time, is that you as the reader, you kind of start to come to your own conclusions of how you think the story should go. And when the author does not have that meet your expectations, it leads to frustration, it leads to anger, it leads to you sobbing throughout an entire volume reaction. It leads to a lot of things. So emotionally, I see, you know, the problems with adaptation, especially when someone dies, and being like, okay, and so now, you know, whatever ends up happening, and here's the truth of it all. I've seen this from Attack on Titan. I've seen this from other series I finished. Bleach. I've seen this from other series, although Bleach is getting possibly remade. We'll see how that goes when I get to it. But I've seen this with other series and lots of stories throughout literature, throughout decades and centuries and whatnot. The third act's the hardest one to pull off because your audience thinks they know how it should end and you think you know how it should end, and it doesn't always match up those expectations and reality. So Miura was already setting themselves up to have a very hard act to conclude. Do you give it a happy ending? Do you give it a not happy ending? Do you give it a bittersweet ending? How bittersweet? Which characters do you give endings that are appropriate to? Which characters do you shove off? How do you make it to where it doesn't seem unrealistic? How do you make it to where it seems like it's fair for the readers? It's a huge balancing act. And you can make bold choices, of course, but you're gonna piss somebody off at the end of the day. And so my thing is, Mori's gonna be the one to bear all the blame, I feel, when it comes down to it, because the people that are going to be loud and vocal, they're not going to rationally look at this and consider all the complexities involved in the narrating process and the creation of this story. No, they're going to be like, that character died? Maury's stupid. Or, Griffith lost? That's so unrealistic. Maury's stupid. Like, I can see it on social media. I can see it in my head. And hopefully me bringing that out into reality will stop it from happening. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and people will be nuanced and go, well, but Maury was dealing with what Miura gave him, and this was Miura's decision of what he wanted, so technically this is Miura's choice. I don't think that's going to happen. But the realist in me is like, I don't think that's going to happen. But the idealist in me is like, well, maybe people will be congenial and understanding and intelligent about this, but it's the internet. Who are we kidding? So yeah, I do like this white wig. I could see why Miura liked drawing Griffith so much. The white is appealing, but I hate everything it represents. So it's a double-edged sword. It's like it's self-loathing, but but I like sickening. So yeah, I know I've talked forever, but we've got some comments to get through, and this is the last you're going to hear from me about Berserk for a long time. So let's just dive into these comments before we start volume 42. Leandro Tokarevsky, I hope I said that right. They talked about, with volume 38 and 39, the hiatuses between, or I guess with volume 39, they talked about the hiatuses between 2013 and 2014. Miura wrote and illustrated another manga called Gigantomachia, which we've talked about previously. It's an 11-chapter long single volume. It's part of the reasons for Berserk's hiatus at the time and the delay on volume 38, which I can understand why people were frustrated. Also in 2019, which was 5 years later, Miura established Studio Gaga and started writing and supervising the creation of Doranki, a manga illustrated by Studio Gaga. That explains the second major hiatus. Doranki was meant to be training grounds for his assistants, who would, in time, take more of the artwork load on Berserk as well. As it turns out, Miura died only 2 years after the creation of Studio Gaga, and they were left only partially prepared for the job that they have now. Doranki was canceled after Miura's death. I have read Doranki. The vibe of it, I read it a long time ago when I was reviewing this, maybe back in the 20s of the volumes. I think I'd have to go back. But I did read Doranki. I think it was around volume 26 that I read it. It's good. It had a lot of potential. I really liked the idea of this kind of non-binary protagonist, and it was based on Greek mythology, so it didn't just seem to come out of nowhere, because a lot of Greek mythology deals with like non-binary and dual gender and plays with gender and stuff like that. So I think it was really cool, and there was a lot of conceptual artwork that was interesting. So I am sad that it got canceled, but also it was like Miura's creation, so if if the creator's gone, then the project's gone too. Except in this case for reasons. But yeah, so I get that. And I also understand why Studio Gaga was like, now we're like, the ball's rolling, but what do we do? So I do feel for them. It's very frustrating for not only Miura to die so young and to leave behind this legacy and this unfinished story, but also that he was being ambitious and starting like getting assistants to help him and doing all this. Like he was getting things prepared and in order to expand on what he was doing, and then it was cut short, which is very tragic. And now it's like, okay, well, take that passion and run with it, right? We'll see what happens. So that's very interesting. So I thank you, Leandro, for explaining that, because that does help explain the hiatuses. And also he was getting used to digital artwork, and so he was trying all these new things, and it's very sad what happened to them. Christian Kansas asked about Berserk. Will you watch the Berserk Memorial Edition anime from 2022? It has 13 episodes. Probably, I'm not going to probably do a reaction to it, if I'm being totally honest with you. First of all, after this volume, I need a break from Berserk. And after volume 41, that became insanely apparent. I was tore up by volume 41. I had to like walk away. I needed to stop. I was getting upset. Like this story, I like Berserk so much, but it has a tight grip on a very real, very private part of myself. and to the point where I feel like a lot of people watching my videos, if you've not been a victim of something like sexual assault, or if it doesn't like take up a large portion of your brain, you're probably watching my reactions going, well, why is she overreacting? Why is she being so extra? Why is she getting so emotional? But it really took me reading the series to realize, like, yeah, there's a lot of emotion tucked into that part of my consciousness and with that experience that I have to repress to function daily. And this story brings that out. And it has definitely shown me that, like, for self-care reasons, I need to not be totally immersed week to week in a story like this. There's probably reasons for those hiatuses, and people that, you know, there's been a lot of people comment that are survivors as well, and they find this story to be a great way for them to work through that struggle. And I totally realize that. I totally acknowledge that. I can see that. I think for me, it's really brought up some ugly sides of the incident that happened to me, and it's brought up some like ugly realizations of what I'm frustrated with and angry with at myself and at the perpetrator, and the unresolved nature of it, because it is an unresolved situation. That person never faced any responsibility for their actions. So when I look at Griffith, I immediately see that harasser and that perpetrator, because they're very equal. They hold a lot of power and they hold no responsibility for what they've done. And as refreshing as seeing Rickert slap Griffith was, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, well, that was worth the whole story. It's not enough to make up for that. And also, it also reinforces the idea that we'll talk about up here and with the baby, and kind of Miura's whole, I think, theme and where he's going with this is the idea that violence begetting violence. I mean, Attack on Titan, Isayama draws a lot from Miura, so he's drawing the same kind of themes, but and not just Attack on Titan, like anime in general has drawn on this theme, and I feel sometimes audiences forget that, and I don't think they get it, and I'm like, I don't know if I don't want to say an audience isn't smart enough to understand it, but I think some of them just, they don't take the time to really consider the theme. A lot of anime is anti-war, anti-violence. They use violence as a stage to show you how ridiculous it is, and the cycle of it, and how it just begets violence, and it creates a cycle that is not only endless, but just swallows people whole and destroys them. And all of these series are like, look how bad this is. We don't need to be doing this. And I feel like, unfortunately, some readers, they're just like, oh, cool battle scenes. And they don't realize what the message behind it is. It just goes right over their heads, or like in one ear, out the other. They don't get it. And it's frustrating. And so I think that after thinking about it for a long time, I think Miura, he's fused Griffith with the baby for a lot of reasons, which we'll bring out on Whiteboard Coon. But I think one of them is to establish that we can't kill Griffith. And I'm like, and that's fine. It's also one of those things of, is it better for you to die and not suffer, or do you need to suffer your consequences? And so then the question is, well, how do we make Griffith suffer the consequences? And I think that there's ways we can talk about that up here, but we're not ready for it yet, because I want to get through this volume and see what more he gives us. See what Miura had in plan after that chapter, right? But I do think that looking back now, I need a break from Berserk. I think that having these 3 weeks off has gave me some clarity. It's let me go back and look back at the story and go, okay, reading it week to week is not sane for anyone's health. I think if I could go back now, having these couple weeks off from volume 41, I'm like, man, I should have just read maybe like 2 volumes a month, and I might have had a better reaction with it. So if I read something as heavy as Berserk in the future, which I don't know if there is anything more heavy than Berserk, honestly, but if there is, then I would probably have to take breaks in between volumes so that I could get some clarity and decompress and do that. But I will say I will probably watch the Memorial Edition as I'm researching my video essay. Am I going to react to it? Probably not, because if it's just going over the Golden Age arc again, y'all can just go watch my 97 reaction, because it's going to be the same content. It's going to be the same content. Oh, is Wild in the Memorial Edition? Well, I definitely don't want to react to that. So I was like, now I may go back and watch, and if there are parts of it that are worth noting, I will definitely talk about it in the video essay and like maybe bring up some stills or screenshots or things like that. But I hate recaps. I don't see the point of them, and I'm not sure if people would even want to see me rewatch something that I've rewatched before. And technically twice, because I not only watched the 97 version, but went back and read the manga version of it. So I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But it's not going to be anytime soon, if that's your question. That was a long answer to that question. Stuck in Liminality says that I think the reason Rickert was able to slap Griffith is because he views Griffith differently than everyone else. Guts sees him as a devil, and most of Midland sees him as a god. But Rickert, on the other hand, sees him as neither. He can only see Griffith as a man, which is why I think Rickert was able to slap him. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. I like that a lot. I like the idea that you can't touch something if you believe it's untouchable. It's one of those things, if you think it's sort of a mind over matter situation, if you believe that they are untouchable, then that's going to be the case. And if you think they are touchable, well, I mean, that doesn't always work with the laws of physics, but but in this case, I think that that's a very good point. And I think it kind of ties to the idea that if Griffith is connected to the baby, and I'm just going to call them the baby, or MB, I guess we call him Moonlit Boy, then maybe that's a way of bringing them down to a place where Guts could reach him, because if Guts is trying to reach the kid, then he wants to like grab the kid, and that would let him grab Griffith. And here's the thing, if the kid is part of Griffith, then Griffith probably can't hurt Guts and Casca because the kid won't let him. So that is a big limitation to Griffith's power, and that's important to note, and could be the way that they reach him in the future. Now, what they do when they reach him, that's a big question. So we'll just have to see how that goes. We'll just have to see how that goes after this volume. But yeah, BBT Raziel says, one of my favorite things about the dream chapters are the switch of perspectives of the eclipse. Until now, the eclipse always had that feeling of dread and hopelessness. Nothing you could do to fight against, only struggle through it. But here, we get to see for the first time the monsters being defeated, good prevailing over evil. Shirk and Farnace aren't just surviving, they're winning. Yeah, I think that that's something really important, is that I think one of the things that was so interesting about volumes 39, 40, and 41 was the framing of the context of the eclipse, because the eclipse was so doom and gloom. And maybe that's the point of Berserk 2 that has felt so off for me, is that it was so dour and despairing and hopeless for so long, up until like volume 27, that you just kind of get this sense of nothing good's gonna happen. And then even though Griffith keeps being a bitch, everything else around us, our heroes start to get powers of their own, and they start to develop themselves and get to where they can fight back and defend themselves. And so it does feel like a shift. And I think because we're so conditioned to feeling despair with Berserk, that seeing them actually do well, it almost feels like a cop-out. But it's not. It's just, it's crazy, right? And for me, because I'm reading week to week, it felt like it was so sudden. Whereas you all that have been, reading for 20 years were probably like, finally. And it probably felt a lot more subtle, chapter to chapter, year to year, than it does when you're just seeing it all happen at once. Some mangaka, they know that they're writing for a manga format, and they know what those volumes are going to feel like when they're all coming together, and some do not. So I wish Miura would have talked more about how he felt about that process, but we'll never know. Nathan Rude. Okay, so Nathan Rude said this, and I hope that you're okay with me reading this because you posted it, but that last volume broke me when I read it, and I don't know if you're talking about this volume or 41 or what, but as a survivor, I actually got flashbacks to my own trauma. I hope the conclusion to this plot point was worth the wait. Well, this is why Berserk has a special place in my heart. From the golden age to now, it helped me process my own corridor of dreams. Thank you for sticking with this series, fellow struggler, and you make me emotional reading that, so I'm going to try to hold it together, because that's my goal for this week, is to hold it together. Like Guts, we must set aside our own ways, accept help from others, and carry on the best we can. Which, yes, that has been a major point of Guts figuring out how to work through his trauma. I have thoughts about Casca personally, but that's just, we'll wait till the end of this volume for that. But Guts anyway, yeah, him coming so far from where he was during the Black Swordsman. And there have been some comments where people were like, just Guts isn't the same as he was back then. I'm like, yeah, we should not want to be like Guts during the Black Swordsman. That's kind of the message. We don't want to be like that. That's not a good thing. You want to accept help from others. And it is, I feel like I'm not a man, so I cannot speak to this entirely. So you'll have to excuse me for assuming and paraphrasing, but I could be wrong. But I know from the media that I consume that there is a portrayal of masculinity and how men should function in society. And a big part of it is vulnerability and seeking help from others and collaborating can often be seen as weakness. And the reality of the situation is, no, it's not. So it's like, no, you can't get everything done by yourself. You have to ask for help. You don't know everything. You have to ask for help. You have to learn things. You have to work with others. And I feel like there's a lot of masculinity portrayed in media and in society that suggests otherwise. And it's like, I do appreciate Miura using Guts as a template to say, no, that's not how this has to be. So we'll talk about it after the volume. But yeah, there is no fighting just to die. Struggle. Struggle until the end of ends, and then struggle some more. At least that's what I'd say if I were him, right? So yeah, I do definitely think that in some ways, maybe my thing was I thought I was well adjusted. Maybe because of my trauma. It happened like 10 years ago, or 11 years ago. And so I thought I was well adjusted. And then reading this story really unearthed some like things I had repressed that I maybe have not had the chance to ever work through. And again, no emotions. We're not going to get emotional here. But I do think that while this series made me very uncomfortable, and if somebody in the comments says, that's the point, I'm going to throw up. Stop it. But I do feel like that being uncomfortable, you have to process through that, right? It makes you uncomfortable. You have to process through that. And so I don't think I was fully ready for all that Berserk was going to do in that regard and do it so quickly. So it has been hard to work through that. And it has definitely shown me that I need those breaks from this to process and be able to address it volume to volume. And I wasn't getting that chance to do that back during all of that. And the comments weren't helping. So, which is something I'm going to talk in the video essay about. We're doing, by the time you watch this video, the series that's replacing this will have already been chosen. It's been on Patreon. There was a video I did back in mid-October that was addressing like the series that we're going to replace Berserk. And then the poll's been out on Patreon the week after that. So it's already ended by the time you watch this. But there were people in the comments of that video, like choosing the polls, they're like, hey, I've really enjoyed your Berserk journey. It's been a lot of fun. You've done a really good job and all this. And I'm like, thank you. If you want to say that in the actual videos, that would have been great. Because yeah, I feel like while there have been some really good discussions, I feel like there's been such a cloud of despair over the comment section. And I've honestly dreaded the comment section, even with the moderators checking ahead of time, because the moment the moderators are like, avoid this person, I know some of it's due to spoilers. I know a large part of it's due to spoilers, but the part of you that doesn't know and will never know, well, when I'm doing my video essay, I'll know because I'm going to go back through them and see what you bitches wrote. So, but the ones that I did see, and the ones that, you know, your brain immediately thinks, well, were they being rude? Were they not being rude? And I did see some of them before the moderators really cracked down, and some on accident. And yeah, there was just so much like hatred in the comments section for this series in particular. And I know why. I'm going to talk in the video essay about it. But it was very discouraging. And it made me be like, if I watch another series like this again, I start to get those same comments, I just need to back away from the comments altogether, because I don't want to put myself through that. And I don't want to have to deal with that, because it was a lot. And there were some really good comments and some kind people, but they were not nearly as vocal as the negative. Or at least that's my experience with it. Now, maybe people will come out of the woodwork and show their support and kindness, but even some of the comments I get now for like people are catching up and watching, some of them have been very rude, and they haven't been spoilery because I'm at the very end, so I just went ahead and read them, and I was like, Anyway, and I'm sure those comments are going to happen moving forward, and there's nothing I can do about it, but it has shocked me how very condescending and rude some people are, and very tone deaf, or they just don't care if you're a victim of assault. What do you know, woman? And I'm like, and so that's been something to deal with. But I do appreciate people like Nathan who have been victims as well to share their stories and also share that this is a struggle to get through. And that's just how it is. And I've talked for 35 minutes. If you've not noticed at this point, I'm avoiding reading this volume because I honestly don't want to read it. And not because I'm not enjoying the story, because it's complicated, and I want to read it because after this I know there's a break. We're going to be good. But I don't want to read it because I am terrified of what Miura had planned. Because it's not good. Griffith's an Elfhelm. Casca can't talk to Guts without getting triggered, and now she's just watched her, who I'm sure she's just realized is her child, turn into Griffith. There's been no explanation. Guts doesn't know why he turned into Griffith. I'm assuming, I mean, Griffith did explain it at the end of the last episode, but was Guts really listening, or was he just freaked out in the moment? Because if Griffith started talking after he just turned from that boy into him, I wouldn't have been listening. I would have been too awestruck, and like my mind would have melted, and I would not have been paying attention. So is he going to repeat it or what? Is he gonna attract all of the apostles there? Are they gonna try to burn down Elfhelm? What's Skull Knight gonna do? I gotta take this jacket off. It's too hot in here. It's just I'm terrified, honestly. If I'm being quite honest with you all, I'm terrified. And I don't know where this story is gonna go, so But I am watching this. I am reading this online. There is a translated version from a site that I have used to read other manga, and the translations have been quality before, so we're just going to roll with that. But, oh my god, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I did want to make note. I did notice a few things going into this. I wanted to know how many chapters were in this volume, just randomly. I didn't look at titles or anything like that. I just counted real quick. But up until volume 38, there had typically been 9 chapters per volume, which feeds out about right. Volume 39 was only 8 chapters, and I'm assuming that had to do with the hiatus, possibly. And then volumes 40 and 41 were only 7 chapters. I feel like that was an intentional choice as they were publishing, but I don't know, because Miura died, well into those last chapters, so it probably wasn't like a predetermined thing. I don't know the reason. I don't know why volumes 39 was 8 and 40 was 7, which is less than the normal volumes. I don't know why. I get why volume 41 was only 7 chapters, because he died and they're like, we got to stop and then figure out what we're doing. But volume 42 is back to the 9 chapter format. So I'm not exactly sure how many chapters are out at this point. I do know from Discord that as I'm recording this and as you all are watching it, there was a chapter at the end of October come out, and then there was going to be a November chapter as well. So 2 back-to-back chapters, which is cool. So I'm very curious. I obviously am going to read volume to volume from now on because I want to, but it may be a while before I read the next volume. So, but there'll probably be 9 chapters. So whenever 9 chapters, I usually like to wait until a volume cover comes out. And I haven't looked at the volume cover yet, so we'll check it after this one. But usually I like to look at volume covers and include them in the thumbnail, so that'll probably be when it comes out. But okay. Anyway, chapter 365. Oh my god, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for any of this. I'm not ready. Oh my god, I don't even know what to do. Ugh. Okay. We're going to talk about this, though. So we need to start this chapter off and do this here in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the chapter starts with this here, which is interesting. Okay, cool. The one thing I want to notice, and again, we talk about merchandising and we talk about everything dealing with that. If you wanted to own Guts' sword, I totally understand why. I know why you would want to do that. If you wanted to have a poster of Guts versus Zod, I get that. If you wanted to have the poster of Griffith and Guts, I mean, you have the black and white contrast. The aesthetic is there. I get it. But if you're just going to own a Band of the Hawk banner, why? Again, I was like, it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, this is actually representing all of these horrible things, but you can own this merch of it. And I'm like, I don't know why you would want to do that. Okay, I think we have to go this way with it. Oh, okay, so I'm assuming this is just translating everything leading before here with the baby and Casca and the moonlit boy and... So the complication, we might as well just put it up here. We might as well just get it out of the way now. The complication is that Griffith, he is fused with the moonlit boy and becomes him once a month. Which, if you think about it, that is Griffith's weakness. He's not a full-fledged he's immortal, of course, but he is not a perfect god because he's fused with this baby. It's kind of his own fault that he's fused with the baby because he's the one that assaulted Casca, and if he hadn't done that, then he wouldn't have had to worry about this, but he did it, and so now he's paying for the consequences. But, so he's fused with this baby that I'm hoping means he can't harm Guts and Casca. He didn't in the past, so I'm assuming that's what that means. He also has to turn into the boy every month, so he has to transition and become him. I feel like it's a two-way street where Griffith can see through the boy and the boy can see through Griffith, which is so freaking creepy. I also feel like the boy has been aging a little bit more rapidly than time has been. And also, we're in Elfhelm, so is he going to age even more while they're there? And then when he leaves, when he transforms again, he's going to be a teenager? I don't know. So, there's that, that we don't know either. I don't know how the time situation is going to work with this. But there's a lot of complications with this. But I hate the idea that Griffith could see what was going on while the boy was there, and the boy can see what's going on while there's a sense of powerlessness for them both because they both are symbiotically connected. So there is a sense of powerlessness on both sides. But to me, it's like, how do you separate them? Because I think one person could go, oh, well, if they separate themselves, then, but it's like the boy was dead. He was revived through the wish to bring Griffith back. So if you separate Griffith from the boy, how does that even work? Is that even possible? I don't know. Is it going to be like a... Spoilers for Trigun, 1998 anime, if you're interested. Just ignore the next 30 seconds. But in the 1998 Trigun anime, at the very end of it, Knives, who is Vash's brother, because Vash doesn't kill people, he like spares Knives' life and he makes him like go back and integrate back with society. And it's kind of funny because Knives is just this homicidal maniac that's very dramatic and diva-y, but he ends up having to be forced by his brother to stay and hang out with them and see the errors of his ways. But I would argue he hasn't done nearly as many awful things as Griffith has, so there's that. End of Trigun spoilers. But I feel like, I've always been resentful to a redemption story for Griffith. And the reason for that is that Griffith has paid no responsibility for the actions that he's done. He has not had to answer for killing and being responsible for sacrificing Judo, Pippin, for raping Casca, for causing her child to be born as a demon fetus and being aborted. Like, he has had to answer to none of that at all in this story. And he's just like, meh. And so he doesn't have to answer to anything. And so that's been the most frustrating part of it, because you're like, well, the thing about it is, for a character to have redemption, they have to first answer and understand what they've done wrong, acknowledge that they've done wrong, and want to make a change and become a better person. And then you can have a redemption story. If a character can go through those three things, if they can acknowledge what was done wrong, admit they were the one that caused it, and sincerely believe it, and then 3, sincerely want to make themselves a better person and atone for what they've done, then sure, you can have a redemption story. Griffith, though, has done none of that. He has not acknowledged that what he's done is bad. He's just like, that was just my dream. Sorry about you. 2, he does not at all want to atone or take responsibility. He's like, no, I'm a god. Why would I want to do that? And he has no intention of being better, because to him, he is better. He believes he's perfect. So why should he have to do that? Or he's acknowledged that he's not perfect and he's just going with it anyway. So he has no acknowledgement of wanting to have a redemption arc. So I don't understand if that's really needing to happen. And I guess if the torture of it is that the baby gets to live out month to month with Guts and Casca, and Griffith just has to sit there and take it. But then what do we do about Falconia? What do we do about the Apostles? What do we do about all this? There's a lot we need to get through this volume. I'm not even to the first page. Oh, well, there's Puck Booty, and Guts. Guts being like, well, shit, here we go again. All right. Yep. The lull of a waning moon. I'm dreading all of this. Hey, Puck, how's it going? Can we just stick around with you and not deal with this? And this giant moon? Okay, yeah, there's Yzma. And this is also drawn by Mori. I'm realizing this. This is all Mori. Mori's doing great so far. Yep, all the boats. Oh, shit. No, everybody knows that he's there. Something is here. A man, no. It's from outside, a terrifying entity to our island. I'm glad they all recognize that Griffith is there, and it's not good. Oh, wow. Man, Mori does a great job of making them look like them. Wow. Holy shit. That would be another reason why this series is probably taking so long. Miura was just such an amazing artist that anytime you're trying to recreate a look from this style, like, that's not easy. That takes forever, especially to get to the level of detail that Miura was constantly trying to perfect. Uh-oh. And Valera and them are like, what are you doing? And then Shirk's like, shit, what? Why is there a naked man with blonde hair? Does Shirk know who that is? Oh my god. Mori! Sorry, y'all. I don't have an 8-pack. I mean, Mori was, and the teardrop falls. Yeah, and there's a little teardrop down his eye there. Mori was trying to live up to Miura's vision of, I'm going to make him hot, because that's what Miura would have done. Son of a bitch. Not good. Not good. This is, I'm dreading every second of this. Yep. Dreading every second of this, because the baby did not give off the demon vibes that got the brands activated, but Griffith is not the baby. And here we go. Oh my god. Oh no, it broke the chain. Well, that's terrible. That's not good at all. Oh my god. Nope. It's him. Yeah. Oh my god. And the nudity. Just like Maury's picking up right where Miura left off. There we go. Oh my god. Oh shit. And Shirk's like, oh my god, who is this? Shirk's like, oh shit, that face is terrifying. Oh my god. Nope. Oh, not good at all. Oh my god. And then, yeah, the Beast of Darkness is like, what do we do? What do we do about this? Shit. Shit. Oh, and of course, Griffith's gonna go immediately towards him. I don't know if Maury... Here's the thing. Real quick, before we move on. I want to make this note. This series has had no qualms about showing boobies and showing vajayjays. But you all got a problem with showing a penis? I always have found that fascinating. Like, media does not want to do full frontal nudity on a man because it makes them vulnerable. And it's just, why would we want to put them in a vulnerable state? But y'all have no qualms showing a woman full frontal. No qualms. She can be vulnerable all day long. But we can't show how big or small Griffith's dick is? Is that, the double standard of it all. The double standard of it all. And honestly, maybe he has the anatomy of a Ken doll now, but he's having sex with Charlotte, so I doubt that's the case. But be brave. Be controversial yet brave and show a damn penis. Oh, 2 chapters in 1. Keep reading. Oh, I was going to say, that was the freaking shortest chapter on Earth. Oh my God. Well, but you were just picking up where the series left off. Okay. The Maelstrom's Eye. Yeah, the Eye of the Storm. That's where we're at. Oh my God. And it probably did absolutely nothing. Yeah, because you can't, he's an astral body. You can't touch him. Well, he came back as a human, but again, he probably is manipulating time and space. Like he did with the Skull Knight. Speaking of which, where are you, Skull Knight? Oh my God. And just try to decapitate him, and that did nothing. We can't hurt Griffith with the sword. That's a problem. What a smug asshole. What a smug asshole. Ugh. And that's what's so frustrating is that it's like, Griffith, do you not understand? Like, you've ruined these people's lives, and he doesn't care. And it's not, you're not going to be able to touch him. Shit. I will say this for Maury. It feels like Mira. It really does. The transition. Someone's here. Is it her? Oh, don't get any closer. Farnesay, what are you doing here? That's not important right now. Is that, yes, you can sense it too. It's a maelstrom. A force that draws in and swallows everything around it. What unbelievable power. We can't let ourselves get sucked in. A true maelstrom. Okay, so she was thinking that it was like creating this illusion to make her think that it was Flora. Okay, good. Good on you, Farnesay. Way to go. Good. Oh, and she got Casca too. Oh. What happened to Guts? Well. Oh my God. I'm glad that she got Casca off the ground there. Yeah, it's not hurting him at all. Okay, so complications. Here we go. Guts cannot physically attack Griffith. Which is interesting because to Brandon Evans, who made the comment that Griffith let Rickert slap him, I hated it in the moment because it made so much sense. I was like, shit, it does make sense. So maybe Griffith did let Rickert slap him. Maybe he accepted that he deserved that, but fuck. Now what? Something is coming. I don't like that either. No, not good, Cotton. Oh my God, no. No! Why is he here? A wedge is formed on this sacred island and a torrent of darkness is flooding in. To be continued next issue. Ha ha ha. Why? No. Fuck. Mists fade as cherry blossoms fall. Well, yeah, the mist fading, like everything becoming clearer. And cherry blossoms mean like the end of spring, end of peaceful times. We're not ready for brat girl summer. Stop it. Oh, just what I needed. Yeah. What will become of this once peaceful island? Well, it's probably going to burn to the ground if Flora's incident was any case. Oh, why? Why did he suddenly react to the Beast of Darkness insignia there? Because Guts is fighting Zod, so why did Griffith look back at that? Interesting. I don't feel like they're different. I don't feel like they're separated. Oh my god. Ugh! Oh! Meanwhile, Hell's come to Elfhelm, and meanwhile, Elfhell. Oh my god, Mira, if you foreshadowed that with Elfhell, come find your ghost, Casper. How dare you? I appreciate you all staying late to help fill in for the brownies. Don't mention it. Ah! Still kind of surprised you run around the village all day during brownie work. We can be brownies again in the morning, Isidro. No way, mornings are for training. Aw. Well, at least I'll get to keep Yzma all to myself. You two should bid Lady Danan farewell. We should be on our way. Oh. Why is she shivering? Yzma, what you noticing? Oh, shit. Is it a tummy ache? Did you eat anything funny? Did Isidro poison you? I like this, Serpico. What ails you, Your Highness? What's going on? Oh, everything will be lost. A great danger. They shall spring forth from the earth one after the other. Oh, that sounds cryptic and prophetic. That sounds like, you know, remember how all the Kelpie and all the other spirits here looked like it was Qlipoth, except it was the nice version of it? What if the bad version, like, was just under the surface and started to take over this place? Not good. Not good! Nope! Nope! No, stay away from all three of these women. Why is he going near only the female characters? Stay away from them. Nobody wants you. Oh my god. Nope. 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 Don't you harm Shirk. Don't you harm Shirk. Don't you harm Farnace. Oh my god. Oh! Oh my god. It actually... Oh my god. Does he... Is that Casca that's below him? And he didn't chop through him because Casca's below him. Also, this is mirroring like when he brought the sword down during Golden Age, right when he was leaving to go away forever, and Griffith was traumatized by it. This is mirroring that same moment. Oh, you shit. Oh, you bastard. No. Oh. I mean, it wasn't going to do anything to him anyway, but oh. Oh my god, yeah, he would have cut her leg. He would have cut her leg. Oh my god. Oh, and all the cherry blossoms. Oh my god, all coming off the tree. No! You can't just do this for aesthetic reasons. Oh my god, what? What is this nonsense? Oh my god, why are you splitting the ground and making a ravine? Is this where all the demons are going to come out of? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh. Put her down, you son of a bitch! No. Oh, the long-awaited chapter. Oh, was there a giant break after this too? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for you all. What? Last time, Griffith's appearance has thrown this once peaceful island into chaos. A rage-fueled Guts did his best to swing his dragon slayer, but he was still helpless. Is there really no way to resist this dark invasion? We'd all like to know the answers to this too. Despair draws near. Despair has been drawing near for 42 volumes. Stop! Devourers. Oh. Oh my god, Devourers sounds like the monsters. Shit! No! Why? Why? There are black shadows all around us, Isidro. I know. Like, I never forget them. They're the things we saw in Albion. Is this for real? Yzma, don't you dare leave my side. Yeah! Oh, I like Isidro being like, come on. I'll keep you safe. Oh! Well, it's about damn he's a good guy, I think. Yeah. Tonight, a beam of blinding light pierced this land. That flash wedged open fissures which act as passages all over. That is how these things got here. The fact is, this land is sustained thanks to them. You could say they are the true lords of the island. They're too much for ordinary people. You need to leave. Yeah, okay, so no, that all makes sense. Everything has been kind of creepy about this whole island. Like, not only the time situation, but the fact that all of these, like, astral entities live on this island. And everybody's like, oh, isn't this just the most crazy thing? No, it all makes sense now that this island has just been, the elves have been keeping it sane. And now that Griffith's here, it's completely thrown everything off. And it's like, uh-oh. And Skull Knight's like, we got to get out of here. Well, girl, Morta, whatever your name is, you're going to get your wish. You're going to get to leave the island. I hope you're happy. Oh my God. Why? He slashed the wind. I cannot protect you all. Therefore, fleeing is your only option. Now go. And of course, Isidro's like, I'm not running away. I'm going to stay and fight them. And Yzma's like, go get him. And he's like, okay, kid, sure. This collapse may have been preordained, but could the undying will of man to resist also be part of fate? I mean, humans are resilient and stubborn and not good at listening. So it may be just, you know, we're just being true to our nature, Skull Knight. Oh, meanwhile, raise anchors, unfurl the sails. All hands, prepare to set sail. We're leaving Elfhelm. Oh my God. This, I've got to be honest, Maury's done a really damn good job of making this look like Berserk. I honestly have not been able to really notice the difference. And I'm sure people that have been reading forever will notice the difference. But for me, I'm like, no, this looks great. Everything should be ready to go by the time the sun is finished rising. Don't you dare dawdle. They said a crisis would befall the island. We must be in the calm before the storm. Oh, don't say it that way. It'll be too late if we just wait for things to go wrong. Hopefully the warning I sent reaches the village. Ha! Oh, Magnifico and Azon are like, I'm going to stay here. When the humans set foot on the new land, it's natural to want to lay down roots. Oh my God, he's just wasted. Don't you agree, Roderick? No! Get him on the ship! Like, Roderick's like, get him out of here. Oh my God. Oh, the whole island's rumbling. I like that face of Roderick at the top. That's great. Oh no, the torch. Get away from the edge. Oh my God. Oh my God. They're all just encompassing the island. Are those fairies? No, don't touch it. No. Oh my God. Oh shit! Oh! Never mind! That's so freaky! Oh my God! Nope. The shadows instantly just devoured them. Devourers. Oh my God. Oh! Holy shit! Well, that's good. All right, so Maury can do the creepy. I'm here for it. Oh my God. We're surrounded. Oh, him thinking of Farnace. Oh. Oh, I don't want Roderick to be dead. No. Oh, no. If he does die, his last thought being Farnace, shut up. He's leaving with Casca? He's leaving with Casca? No! You son of a bitch! No, we just got her here! Well, thank God. Thank God that she got her mind back before Griffith showed up. Could you imagine if she hadn't got her mind back when he showed up? Oh! No! It's like hands on her boob? No! We're going to talk about this. Oh my God. Guts. No! Oh, she saw him. She saw him reaching out to her. Oh my God. Thank God she saw him. That's going to be seared in her mind. And she wasn't thinking of the eclipse or the demons or anything in that moment. She was just seeing him reaching out to her. And that look on his face. Holy shit. I'm like, Griffith, why are you taking her away? Why can't you just let them be okay and be by themselves? Why are you being such a bitch? Why are you doing this? I know that probably, here's the thing, the moonlit boy probably wants to keep going to see Casca because that's his mom. And so Griffith's logical conclusion is, I want to make Guts' life miserable, so I'm going to take Casca away from him. And also, maybe the moonlit boy won't make me leave Falconia if I have Casca. But also, from a narrative perspective, well, if your goal was to get Guts and crew to go to Falconia for the final battle, then we have to take Casca away. Now, I have mixed feelings about this, and we might as well, let's finish the chapter before we go. Fuck. And they're going up in there and they're just going to disappear. What in the world is happening? An endless darkness swallows everything. I'd reserved this for this evening. Campfire of Dreams. Some schmallow whiskey. For such an occasion. No! You son of a bitch. It's really good, by the way. Campfire Dreams. Okay, let's break this down before we move to the next chapter, right? Before we go on to the next chapter, we need to move on. I know we're on oh god, chapter 369. Oh my god. Also, I need to keep track of how many chapters we have in this volume because unlike, it won't tell me volumes for here. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 70, 71, 72, 73, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, so 373 is going to be the last chapter. So we still have 5 chapters to go. Oh my god. All right. Okay, so Griffith took Casca for the reasons I just said. Okay. You're forcing Guts to go to Falconia. Why? Leave him alone. Why don't you just want to leave him alone? And I know that Griffith's whole MO is like, well, I can't do my job of being, king of the world if I keep on going every month to go see my mom, so I'll just bring my mom back to my home. And it's like, ugh. So, my thing is, one, what is Charlotte gonna think of this? Charlotte's like, why'd you bring a lady back home? Don't you love me? And Griffith's like, not really. So, that, two, the concept of this woman that's been raped by him and he's ruined her life. He caused her to abort her baby and he was taking her away now is so damn frustrating. So frustrating indeed. But here's something though. I'm trying to, from my weeks off since volume 41, if you'll notice, I'm not as emotional. I'm trying to keep a positive mindset in all of this. Here's my thing. Is that Casca being at Falconia could potentially do some things that are good out of this. So we'll focus on the bad end over there. But one, she could expose Griffith and his past. Rickert was not at the eclipse. Rickert cannot attest to what happened during the eclipse. He only knows what Guts has told him. He knows the aftermath, and he knows from building all of their graves how it made him feel. But he does not hate Griffith because he doesn't have a reason to hate Griffith. He does, I mean, if he considers Griffith to be responsible for Pippin and all them, but he wasn't there, he didn't experience it, so it's like a secondhand hatred, and it's not a true loathing. But Casca was there. She was a victim of assault from not only Griffith, but the demons too, and had to watch Pippin and Judo die. So she knows firsthand what he's done. She could tell everybody exactly what he's done. She could reveal what a terrible person he is. And the options are that either Griffith can't kill her because of the baby that is fused with his body. The options are he lets an apostle kill her, which is a bad end. So we're gonna put over here in the bad section Casca dying. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm gonna put it down there because it's a possibility. But Casca could expose Griffith, especially to characters like Charlotte and Sonia. Charlotte and Sonia are two of Griffith's biggest offenders. One, because Charlotte has this illusion of what he is as a person based on what he's shown her, and Sonia has this illusion of what he is as well. And the positives of this, since we're going to be optimistic, are that Casca could show them to be like, yeah, no, what you think Griffith is, I thought that too. I once thought that as well, but that is not the reality. Griffith is not who you think he is, and this is how he really is. And she could expose that and kind of corrupt that from within, right? Because Charlotte's the queen, Sonya's the medium. Sonia is important to Griffith and his plans. If Sonia comes to the reality that he's not who he says he is and is potential harm to her, that could be useful. That could be valuable. Now, the question is, Sonia seems pretty apathetic. Is she going to care what Casca says, or is she going to be jealous of her and not care? There's a very good possibility. But, so that would go under, like, Casca makes no difference. That is a very real possibility that all of my scenarios of how this could be an important thing is not going to come to fruition. But who knows? Maybe Rickard will save her with Psylot and the others. Maybe they'll come back to Falconia and take her away and they'll be like, hey, Guts, we're over at Psylot's place. Don't go to Falconia. Come see us. We don't know. But, I mean, that's the only good scenario that I see coming out of this is Casca exposing not only that, I guess, but also her realizing Guts's love for her. I think she always knows it. I mean, from volumes 39, 40, and 41, we know that she views Guts to be someone that's been guarding her and protecting her this whole time. She understands that, I think, on a subconscious level. And I think that maybe her being away from him will allow her to reconcile the eclipse and everything that's happened with it and come to the point of realization that she'll acknowledge Guts as someone she loves and realize what he's been doing this whole time. I think there's an opportunity for that because last volume, on volume 41, we weren't getting anywhere. She wasn't getting anywhere with him. They were at a standstill. So maybe this was the shakeup we needed to get them to do the damn thing. But it's still frustrating because on the other side of it, there's a chance that Casca will be harmed. And I don't want that either. I don't want him to try to assault her. I don't want him to try to enforce his power upon her. I don't want that at all because he's been doing that with Charlotte and it's been really annoying and I hate it. And so I don't want that to happen to Casca. So there's that we have to deal with. So what do we do? But we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, there's good and bad that can come of this, but I feel so bad for Guts right now. Like, you went to all this trouble and we're back to square one. But I mean, we're not back to square one because Farnesé is there, Shirk's there, everything. So we're not totally back to square one, but this is a major setback and it's very frustrating. And Miura, how dare you? Okay, and Puck's like, well, shit, my home's falling apart. This is not good. Guts! Oh my god. I can't even land one blow. Sweetheart. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Yeah, he couldn't do anything. Oh, shit. I'm gonna be sparing with that. I'm gonna be wasted at noon. Oh, Skull Knight. What a calamity. Oh, you said it. You said it. Yeah, Elfhelm, our beautiful paradise is just ruined. Oh, good. They got Roderick out. Thank God. Thank God you're safe. I concur. Yes. They evaporate after contact with light and seawater. Well, that's interesting. That explains why they haven't, like, left the island. They can't leave the island. They're stuck there. Okay, what now? Oh my god. Yeah, there's literally like a tear in the island and everything. Shit. Oh my god. Oh. What? Was that with the... Did the ship? What happened with the ship? Oh. What's wrong with Yzma? What? We cannot remain in the corporal world. What about Yzma? What? Why did she just leave? Why'd she just disappear? What happened? Why are they all going away? Why did they all leave? Please send your feedback. Oh my god, yeah, like, I want to go back to that real quick, because what was the thing with the ship? The mermaids can't save them all. Gather all the burial crates, throw them overboard. But then what? Like, what happened with them? Like, what was that tear of light? What happened? And the ship's gone? And Danan's leaving? So why do they... I guess I don't understand why they have to go back to the astral world. Like, why... I guess because the barrier of Elf Island is destroyed by what's happening, but... Why do they all in the proximity have to go? Shirk, we need some answers! It swept away everything. Oh my god. Well, we need some more explanation. Oh my god, what a cutesy little cover with the brownies. That's really sweet and all, but yeah, for a while, peaceful days were the norm. What, refugees from the Western Sea. We need to know what's going on. Stop it. This is really super cute, but no! Did Hope for Peace die with Elf Island? That's so... How dare you! Oh, and they got Guts aboard. I just... What a mountain of a man. Took like 6 of those guys to get him out there. Farnesay. Oh, Shirk. I like Puck's like... Puck is like the least qualmed about all this, but... Yeah, everybody's just like, what the fudge? Lady Farnace. Oh, and poor Shirk. Where did that kid go? Oh, and Isidro. It's all my fault. I couldn't do a thing. I was useless. And that's like Farnace's big thing, is like to be useful, and she couldn't do anything for this. And Isidro's like, where's Yzma? And oh, and poor Serpico's like, what do I say to her? Oh, hey, Mulda, that's it. Get a hold of yourself. I need to borrow you for a bit. What? That's kidnapping! Miss Mulda! Can't you see all the injured folks over there? I'm short-handed on my own. I could use your healing magic. There we go. Yeah, you can't. There are some things that are too big for Farnace to do, but she could help with this. She could do something. So yeah, there is something there. Let's get to work. Right. Oh, good. I like Mulda like stepping in and doing something and being there in a clutch and getting Farnace to help out. Nice. And I feel for Serpico, because Serpico's like, I don't know. I didn't know what to say in the moment. So I'm sure he feels bad because Mulda's the one that got Farnace out of it. And Serpico's like, I wish I could say the right thing in the moment. And then Shirk's like, okay. Oh, your friend was brought here, the one in black. And they're like, Guts! He is out of it. He kept gazing at mumbling something. He looks like a broken man. Well, girl, he's been a broken man for like 40 volumes, so you didn't take much time to see that. I'm still wary if that thing is left to go berserk. I like Shirk's like, I don't need you to tell me the consequences. She's like, no, I get it. We understand. Yeah. I'll go find Guts. Oh, and Isidro. So, I'm glad Roderick's okay. All the survivors are on board, but we couldn't recover half the cargo. Is Sir Guts all right? I like Sir Guts. We can't leave him by himself. Yeah, literally on watch. Don't do anything stupid, Guts. And Shirk's like, oh my god. Oh no, I don't think you have to worry about him doing anything stupid. He's just absolutely horrified right now and feels completely powerless. It's like the first time he's like threw the sword away. That is wild. Oh my god. All this time when I couldn't depend on anything else or anyone else, when I had nothing. He had that sword. Or he had Casca. I had my strength to hold on to. And that's such a big message at this point, because it's like, what happens when you don't have what happens when your strength isn't enough? And that's something that, again, we talk about like masculinity in society, but it doesn't matter your gender. Everyone thinks that they're strong to a point, but there comes a time where that strength, it's not going to hold up. There's always going to be somebody stronger than you. There's always going to be a moment where your strength fades, whether it's due to age or it's due to a disability or it's due to something else. You're always going to find something that you think is your go-to is eventually probably going to fail you. And so then it's like, well, what do you do then? You were all I had. And I mean, you could argue that Casca was also a surrogate for that sword, but now he's lost both Casca and the sword didn't help him, so. Oh my god. I'm not gonna drink any more of this, but well. Maybe I'll do a sip for you, Guts, because that sucks. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Damn it. Damn it. I just like, where do we go now? What do we do? Where do we go from here? Like, I just, and I feel like the one thing, he can't keep getting away with this. Ah. Why would you give us that, Maury, you son of a bitch? Why would you do that? A powerless blade and utter despair firmly engraved in his eyes. And of course, she's in like the white dress with the blood from her heart like on there. Shut up. Shirk. Of course, they're like trying to get through. And her getting to see his face. Oh. What does that say? This is a work of fiction and no correlation with any existing figures, groups, or incidents. Well, God, we hope not. Memories of guts and his sword. Why did the damn horse make it? Why did the horse make these? Like, come on now. I guess because it is memorable. And the teeth clamping around him. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, the teeth. Oh, gnashing through the chains. No. No, 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 no. Oh no. It was all for nothing. Oh. His hand looks so small there. The page, Maury. He looks like, I'm sorry, the artwork has not distracted me one bit this entire series. It looks just like Miura's, but that one little hand, it looks like Scary Movie 2. Take my strong hand. I had to. We need to find humor in these moments of utter despair and heartbreak. Sooner or later, it all sinks down to be torn apart. Everything is submerging to the dark, cold seafloor, including my voice, guts. Yeah, this sucks. Oh, Sonia, you listening? Oh. To think the shamaness of the hawk is stargazing. Is that Irvine there? You don't have to come to the outskirts of the city. Oh, well, no. Oh my God, Mule's so tiny compared to Locust and Grumbeld. Why are we doing here at the port? Oh, Griffith's back. A morning star. Of course. He's so perfect. What is she going to think about Casca, though? And Zod. Wow. Here's the thing. You know what? I'm going to give Maury so many props. This looks like Miura's art. It looks so much like it. I have no qualms with the style. It looks amazing. And the landscape, all that, the port. We haven't seen the port yet in all this. The little lighthouse that's out there. Like, all of this. This is incredible. Like, go you, Maury. Go you. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then Sonia seeing him. Oh, how dare you smirk! How dare you smirk! You little pleases punch son of a bitch! How dare you! Fuck you! He's just so pleased as punch. He's like, I went and wrecked an island and like made my best friend like miserable and hate his life, and I stole his like girlfriend and like nothing happened to me. Oh my God. Valley Girl Griffith. I'm just gonna say all of Griffith's line in a Valley Girl accent because screw him. Ugh! Oh wow, chapter 272. The red raven sleeps in the bird cage. Ooh, is she the Red Raven? Ooh, I like that title, the Red Raven. Of course, Falconia is a birdcage. The absolute being who dies all. Oh my god. Oh, with the sword and the blood on it? Oh, I love this cover, actually. I like this a lot, actually. Casca, just stab him. Hit him with the pointy end. Yeah, there we go. There we go, girl. That's right. Guts, yes. Oh my god. Well, it just looks like they just dropped a bed in the middle of a room. They were like, yeah, this'll work. Now she still has the brand, right? Oh. Why are we dressing her up? What? This doesn't seem like Casca at all. Is it? Why is she in this feathery dress? This does not fit Casca at all. Why isn't she bitching about it? Is she just like, does she think it's a dream? It shines even brighter today, the great helix tree. The world twin tree. Oh, you can call it that too. And they're embarking on another campaign. The Band of the Falcon. They're truly brave and valiant. Has she been there a while? Or is this like recent? I don't like seeing Casca in a dress because it's not becoming of her at all. And she doesn't like it. She's never, like, when she wore it during the ball, she hated it. Because she's like, this isn't me. How long has it been since she's been there? I mean, of course, she would help, like, the kids and stuff. They're orphans. I'm sure she can relate to them. She's just trapped in the birdcage, but why isn't she complaining or, like, asking questions or trying to figure things out? We have to have nudity because it's Berserk. Oh. Does she not remember them? Girl, you just got your mind back. How can you not remember them? There we go. There we go. Yes. Good. Good. I was like, girl, remember where the frick you are and what's going on. Yes. Yes. Try to get out. Thank you. Oh my God. I was like, what is this freaky Twilight Zone where she's just like, everything is just nice and dandy in paradise? No, try to fight and get out of there. I have to get back. Yes. And Guts. Yes. Yes. If I don't get back, then Guts. Yes. Girl, grab that sword. Hell yes. Okay, good. What is this, Inception? Son of a bitch. Oh, they caught her again and knocked her out. Like, has she been dreaming this entire time? Is this like a repetitive cycle? Girl. Or they just go put her back and knock her out. Ugh. I don't like men calling women birds or flowers or objects. It just grinds my gears. That's right, Zod. That's right. Be annoyed by this. Good. I hope Zod's the one that, like, Zod just wants to be around the strongest people. He doesn't really give a shit about any of this politics or any of this other junk. He just wants to fight against strong people. And he's like, okay, I'll align myself with you because you're strong. And you could probably kick my ass. Whatever. But I'm like, Zod, break Casca out of here. Zod, just pick her up and be like, you know, we're going to go back to Guts. I want to fight him anyway. Just don't. The East. Everything naturally flows according to his will. Fuck you! I hate him. so much. He's the worst. The worst. I'm glad that Zod looks a little bit uncomfortable there. I'm really glad that he does. I'm glad Zod's just kind of like, I don't like this. I'm glad that he doesn't. And they're just like, oh, well, she's still stuck in her cage. She tried to get out, but we knocked her out and put her back there again. Like, oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. No. And I don't know why Griffin's just keeping her there hostage. It sucks. I also don't, look, the thing about Casca's character that has been so frustrating to me, and what became very apparent from the guidebook, is that Miura she's just a plot device to Miura, and it's so frustrating because so many people are like, well, she represents like this traumatized person, and I'm like, well, one, I have a lot of issues with that, but I've talked at length at that. But also, no, Miura says in the guidebook that he just basically was like, I was going to kill her off during the eclipse, and then I realized I needed her as a plot device, so I couldn't do that. Like, I don't feel like Miura ever really considered fleshing out her character. He just viewed her as an object for Guts' growth, and we need her for the plot. And that's so frustrating as somebody that really likes her character and what potential it has, that I'm like, do more with her. And I'm glad that she's at least... I was kind of excited by the prospect of her being here at Falconia to see her interact with other people, but they're just keeping her in her room and trying to brainwash her into being happy there. And I'm like, stop it. Like, there's too many narratives of abusers trying to brainwash and Stockholm Syndrome their victims. There's too much of that in real life. There's too much of that in media. And Griffith doesn't give a shit about her or anybody. He's just after his stupid conquests. So it's like, I just want Zod to break her out and run away with her. We only have one chapter left. I cannot believe that. Rusted iron brands unable to push on. Well, that sounds a bit stagnant. We've been looking for you, Cedro. Is that so, Serpico? It's dangerous out there. Need me for something? Can Shirk reach beyond on this ship where despair rises? In order to ascertain Casca's whereabouts after she was taken, Shirk intends to conduct a magic rite. Magic, huh? In the ritual, she will enter into a deep meditative state to expand her consciousness, raising her power of perception, rather. And then... What are you even saying, man? Expanding consciousness and raising perception? I got no clue about all that. Listen, Isidro. Elf Island is gone, together with the great spirit tree and all the souls it supported. The witches lost their home, and many are starting to lose their power. We were lucky to be strangers to the island, and its vanishing had no particular effect on us. Well, ain't that swell? He's so sad about Yzma leaving. Let's have faith. Yeah, I mean, if the witches and stuff were reliant upon the island for magic, it would make sense why it's diminishing, which is a problem. And I guess that's also a plot device too, because you'd be like, oh, a ship full of witches, we can take on, you know, the apostles and all this. Well, if they're losing their magic, then no. Also, they were pretty well inexperienced, so it probably wouldn't have been close either. All we can do is trust in Shirk now. All right, we'll begin the rite. Miss Farn say, just in case, please care for my body. Do you really just want us to watch over you? It's important everyone's awareness is focused on one place for this rite. Even those who have not studied this arcane arts can contribute to the magic. And I like Roderick's like, I don't really get it, but that sounds good. And Magnifico's like, can I capitalize off of this? Nice. I like that. Oh my God. She's like, esteemed brother, shut the fuck up. She's nodding off, isn't she? Oh my God. Magnifico has no clue what's going on because he's not been around any of it. Mm-hmm. The master's consciousness is expanding into the realm of the dead. Or rather, a domain even deeper beyond. She's like, be quiet! This is the dragon's path. It stretches on without end. And I can manifest my perception beyond the horizon. What is this dense, odd gathering in the far distance? As if all the odd is flowing towards a single point. There can only be one such place within the boundaries of this world, and there, surely there. I'm like, I guess the Skull Knight disappeared along with them? Oh, no. the damn dog. Oh, ew. It manifesting itself. Oh my god. Oh, you want it, don't you? Power. Oh no, Guts, don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. You're not gonna be able to hit the dog. Oh my god. Oh no. No, you're gonna wreck the shit. Oh shit. Oh. Oh. Oh, him on the sword. That's like from back when they first fought, like at the beginning of the Golden Age arc. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, sweetheart. You cannot deny me. That brand limits you. You cannot deny me. That flesh restrains you. Your flesh, your blood, the creaking of your bones, your pain, even your soul. Yield them to me. All of you, if you do. Oh my god, no! What is this? A smoke bomb? No! Oh, well, hell! No, not now! Shit! Why? Why is this happening now? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh! Oh no! No! That's the end? Oh, you bitches! No! Oh my god. Oh my god. Hold on. Just hold me out a second because I want to get through. Oh my god. Hold on. I want to get back to Berserk and make sure that there's not another volume. No, damn it, volume. It is the last chapter of this volume. No! Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, son of a bitch. And there's only 3 chapters so far for the next one. Damn it. Okay, I do want to look at the cover. Oh, well, of course. Of course, it's Griffith with his, like, luminescent pink hair taking Casca away and the Beast of Darkness, all this. Oh, my God. And there's the Behelit, and there's this, like, the brand and the skull. Oh, my God. Son of a bitch. I can't believe that's the end. It's not the end. I'm sure they'll get out of it. I'm sure something will happen. I don't know if Guts is going to use the Berserker armor or not, or if Shirk's going to be able to figure out. It seems like Shirk was just trying to figure out where Casca went to, and she's going to figure out it's Falconia. Maybe, you know what? Maybe the Kushan invading, maybe they're just trying to figure out if Guts and them are friend or foe. Maybe they're just trying to figure out if they're part of the Apostles and Griffith's crew, or if they're going to be, maybe they'll be like, oh, it's Guts. Psylocke knows him. We're fine. I've got to wait now? That's what you all said. You're like, yeah, bitch, we've had to wait for a long time, so. Maybe, since there were 2 chapters back to back at the start of next year, maybe by the time that I get my Berserk videos done, volume 43 will be out, and that'll be good timing. Maybe. We can be hopeful. We can be hopeful, right? Oh my god. So, where are we left with? Well, everyone, so the complications is that Elf Island and all of our allies that were magic are gone. So that's a problem. So if you were expecting the Marrows, I'm sad that Yzma's gone. I'm like, poor Isidro. Isidro feels awful because he really liked Yzma and she's gone now. So I feel like Isidro is like, Guts is going through his depression arc. Isidro is going through a mini depression arc of losing Yzma. So, and then I feel like Shirk and Farnesay are like in the same boats for both of them. So I feel for Isidro, for Yzma being gone. The Marrows are all gone. We don't know where Skull Knight's at. Skull Knight surprises me the most because I really expected Skull Knight to try to go after Griffith. I really expected that to happen this volume, and that did not happen at all. Skull Knight just vanished. So I'm going to be curious when he's going to show up again. It felt weird not... I mean, we had him this arc, but it'll feel weird not having them in the future volume. So there's that. Casca's imprisoned. And one thing that I am a little bit upset about is I really wanted to see like Sonia and Charlotte's reaction to Casca being there, but it almost seems like they're just trying not to let anybody know that Casca's there. Like, we're just going to keep her in this little cage, let her go see the orphans and play in the flowers and just try to make her like forget all about everything else, you know, but she's not forgetting about everything else. So maybe, you know, she's going to realize, but I just hate that they're like, well, we've gotten her out of the way for now, so just knock her out, knock her unconscious, and we won't have to deal with her. And I'm like, but there's so many missed opportunities if they don't have her, like, converse with Sonia or Charlotte. Like, what do they think about all of this? About Griffith bringing home this woman? What does this do? Like, I feel like there's so many opportunities, and maybe we'll get there, but Berserk takes forever to get there. And so it's like, ah! But I'm like, okay... So we need those opportunities for Charlotte and Sonia to weigh in on how they feel about all this. So, okay. So as far as like where we go to from here, my predictions, we should do some predictions on here of where we are at this point and see if these hold out for the future. My predictions is that Guts and crew are going to have to at some point meet Rickert and Psylocke. They're going to have to team up with them. That's just going to have to be a thing. They're going to have to team up with them or at least meet with them. And I feel like Rickert could tell Guts, be like, hey, I slapped Griffith. He's going to be like, what? He's going to be like, the sword was useless? I just, you know, we'll tie Rickert to the sword and you can do that. But maybe that whole thing about Rickert being human and acknowledging Griffith as human, or as at least acknowledging Griffith as not infallible, is part of it. Because Griffith is not human at this point. He is a literal monster. So maybe Rickert acknowledging that Griffith is not infallible, though, is a key part of all this. Or at least Guts could talk to Rickert and explain the problems and commiserate with him. Maybe. It's all leading to a showdown at Falconia. And that, as much as I have been hoping would not happen, because it feels very stereotyped and cliche to have a showdown at Falconia. It feels very shonen. That seems to be where it's going. That's going to be this battle with Grunbeld and Zod and all of them. I don't know how they're going to fight them. I don't know how it's going to work. I do feel like at some point Guts is going to have to confront the sword. Guts is going to have to confront himself, the sense of power, and the sword. That's going to have to be a thing. Because the sword's going to keep holding him back, and Berserk has done a good job of making things more and more complicated, and for a while it seemed like Shirk was going to be a way for Guts to like be able to rein it back in. But man, now looking back on volume 41, Guts was really firing off his load there, being like, oh, Skull Knight, I don't know if you knew, but I'm in perfect control of myself and my emotions, and nothing bad's gonna happen. Skull Knight's like, okay. And so now we see Guts dealing with the fact of, oh yeah, no, actually Skull Knight might have been talking about something that he could relate to, and yep, Because I'm sure Skull Knight has had experience facing the God Hand and knows that futility and that powerlessness, and that led him to trying to use the armor, which led him to die. And then Flora, what we've surmised and speculated on is Flora, her taboo act was probably to fuse the Skull Knight's soul into the armor to let him keep on living. Was probably it. Now, here's the thing that's going to be interesting. Skull Knight lost his wife when the God Hand showed up, and all the actions leading up to it led her to die, and that led him to the despair of probably losing his life to the Berserker armor. Guts is in a similar boat of despair, literally and figuratively right now, of thinking that he's going to hurt Casca or do something awful to her, or worse, get Casca to fall in love with him, which is not going to happen, but I'm sure it's crossed his mind because of Casca's previous thoughts about Griffith. So I'm sure that the temptation is there for him to use the Berserker armor. My curiosity is going to be what Miura had in mind if he was going to have, is Casca going to die? Is she going to die like Skull Knight's wife did? And if so, is that going to lead Guts to make the same decision that Skull Knight did? Or one of two things, is Casca going to die and Guts does not make the same decision? Or is she going to be able to live and Guts is not going to fall under the same fate as Skull Knight? Because Guts is the leaping fish. He does defy the narrative, so... But it sucks so much him being back at square one. But you know, honestly, as much as I was dreading this volume, this is kind of doing a very, very tried and true setup. Usually when Act 2 ends... And I'm using like the 3-act structure. So in a 3-act structure of a story, Act 1 is your introductions, everything, which we've talked about in a previous discussion. Act 2 is all the conflict set up. So everything with Griffith has been set up. It's been set up why Griffith is such a powerful enemy, why Griffith is someone we should be afraid of, why Griffith is someone that is going to be really hard to defeat, whatever that defeat looks like. Like, it's all been set up. And then usually in a 3-act structure, your second act ends with your characters at their lowest points. As if that was possible in Berserk, right? And that's literally what we did this volume. This volume is them at their lowest points. Casca's gone. All the work we did to get her to Elfhelm to keep her safe didn't matter. Griffith showed up anyway and took her away anyway. The worst case scenario. She does have her mind back, but she wasn't able to get back with Guts. I think her getting her mind back is the saving grace, is the silver lining of all this, because she can't think for herself. She's just relegated to a plot device at this point. We'll see what Mori and Miura had in mind with that. I'm not holding out much hope, unfortunately. I think Casca's going to fall into the unfortunate boat that so many male-written shonen and seinen do, where the female characters are just there to be trophy brides, and we're just there to be rescued, and we aren't going to have character development. And I say that with the understanding that Farnace and Shirk have so much character development, but Casca, I say that to her as the love interest of our main character. She is falling along the wayside, as so many female love interests have fallen before, as we can't have them have character growth the same time as the main character, because the main character has to have something to develop their character. Can't be friends, can't be family, so it's got to be the love interest. And so time and time again, I've read so many manga growing up where the main female love interest, she can't fight alongside him. No, silly lady, you can't do that. You just got to stand off to the side and look pretty and wait for him to come rescue you. And as a woman, that's such bullshit, you know? How would you feel as a male character in a story if you looked up to a male character and he just stood there and waited for the woman to come rescue you? You'd probably be like, well, that's bullshit. I want to fight alongside her. Welcome to our world. So, yeah. I like Farnace and Shirk's character development, and I'm not saying that Miura does that for all female characters, but for Casca, she's such a badass, and she's just relegated to, look how pretty she is. And it's frustrating. And I think it's just because at this point, Mori's like, I'm just doing with her what Miura had planned. So yeah, we're at our lowest point. Isidro's bummed. Serpico's bummed. Farnace and Shirk are trying to do what they can, but they're bummed. Guts is at his lowest point. So the only thing that made me feel better about this volume is the fact that usually in your second act, your characters are at their lowest. And then volume 3 is where they have to pick themselves up, figure out what to do, make a game plan, and then go do it. And whatever happens is the author's will. Whether it's a good ending, a bad ending, a bittersweet ending, an inconclusive ending, an ambiguous ending. But the third act builds up to whatever that's going to be. And I feel like right now we're at the end of the second act. We're in that boat right now, literally and figuratively. And volume 43 might be our way to end Act 2 and push into Act 3. Now I want to address some things. Again, there's been some comments where people are like, Griffith's story is so fascinating because he's just trying to be the hero and conquer Midland, and he's pretending to be the hero and everything. And I'm like, I understand full and well what Griffith is trying to do. I'm just saying it's boring as fuck. It's just like, and it's boring because it's been the same shit for 20 volumes. I'm like, nothing changes. Going off to conquer, conquered the place, going off to conquer, conquered the place, going off to conquer, conquered the place. It's like nothing new happens. It's just, oh, the only thing new happens is, oh, this revealed a new trinket that will make me even more powerful. And I'm like, it's like when you go to a party and somebody's just humble bragging all night and you're like, you're just waiting for them to shut up. And it's like, go away. That's how I feel about Griffith. And I think it would be more dynamic as well if also during the Golden Age, it wasn't the same thing. It was going to fight the battle. We conquered the enemy, gonna fight the battle. We conquered the enemy, gonna fight the battle. We conquered the enemy. The only time where they faced opposition was the eclipse, and that's when everything went crazy. But at least during the Golden Age, they suffered some losses, and there were some serious moments where you were like, oh, I don't know if Guts and Casca are gonna make it out of this. Oh, I don't know if Rickard's gonna make it out of this. Oh, I don't know if Corcus is gonna make it out of this. Like, during the Golden Age arc, there were some legit moments of, we do feel the stakes, because we don't know how this battle's going to end up. With everything since volume 21, anytime it pans to Griffith having a battle, it's like, why am I invested? Because you know the outcome of it. He's going to win and use some bullshit magic to like win his cause, and everybody's going to praise him, and nothing new is going to happen. That's why volume 38 was so interesting to me, and it was probably like the best volume since the Golden Age, was because for the first time, oh shit, things are happening. Griffith's not totally getting his way. Oh my God, this revelation. But now it's just back to the same old shit. Now it's just back to, gonna go fight the battle. We won. Gonna go fight the battle. And I'm so sick and over of it. At least with Guts struggling on the ship, I'm invested. And I want to know what's going to happen to Guts. Like, how is he going to get out of this? How is he going to fight the Berserker armor? I'm invested because I want to know what's going to happen and how is he going to save himself, right? And there's that vulnerability there that keeps me wanting to know more about his character. I was excited for the Red Raven in the Birdcage chapter with Casca until I realized that all that chapter was just to say, yeah, she loves Guts and she's trying to escape, but not gonna do her any good. We're just gonna knock her out and tie her back in and rinse and repeat. And I'm like, if that chapter had ended with like, the only thing that salvaged that chapter was Zod kind of off to the side being like, I'm not really here for this. And that gives me hope that Zod's gonna maybe be like the little crack in the armor to be like, this is kind of boring and dumb. Let's do something different. I don't know. It would have been even better if like there was like a one-shot panel where like we saw Sonya's expression, or we saw Charlotte, or something that would give you the indication that Casca's going to have some kind of development or an arc or something. But all it seemed to do was for Mori to say, yeah, she's here now. She is fighting back, but it's not doing anything. So now let's go back to Guts and them. And it's like, and that's not Mori's fault. Mori's just doing whatever Miura wrote. So it's like, we'll say the artwork, top notch. Like, it looks like Miura's artwork. And that is not easy. I am beyond impressed. There was maybe a few panels where I was like, okay, that's not how Miura would have drawn it style-wise. But if you had not told me Miura had died and that was just the thing, I'd have been like, wouldn't have known. And that is, to me, so impressive. Like, for Mori, I don't know if you've ever tried to imitate someone's art style. It's freaking hard to do, if at least even possible. Like, it's at least usually noticeable if you're trying to imitate an art style. But unless you're using, like, AI or some shit like that. But I don't support AI artwork, so fuck that shit. But like, for Mori to be able to not only get the art style down, but to imitate it so well, that is incredible. I'm like, I understand why it's taking him so long to do these chapters, because not only do you have to like figure out the dialogue, figure out what you're going to do, make Miura's notes make sense, figure out how you're going to lay out the chapter and do it, and how Miura would have wanted it, but then you've got to draw it and have it to the standard of Miura. Like, who else could do that? So, Mori, you get all my praise. Like, seriously, you are doing unsung hero work, adapting this story and finishing it. And I'm really enjoying the Mori section so far. I like what I see. The pacing of it's been pretty decent. The chapters have been shorter, and I don't remember if they were longer in the original, but the pacing is on. I was like, the pacing felt on in this volume, like we were getting places. There was maybe some areas, like with Elfhelm and them just disappearing. I'm sure that's part of the mystery. They're not going to explain, like, why did they suddenly just disappear? We don't know yet. And where did they go? Are they in the astral world? What's happening? Where did they transport to? What are we doing with that? Is Griffith trying to just destroy all the other astral beings in the world so it's just him and the apostles and they can rule everyone with an iron fist? Probably. But yeah, I'm so fascinated, and I can't believe that's where it ended, and that's so frustrating. So frustrating! Oh my God. Maybe I should drink more during those reactions. The edge was taken off for sure. But yeah, so I don't know. Guts and crew have to figure out where to go to, how they're going to retaliate. I guess the big question is, at this point, how do we quote unquote defeat Griffith? Because I had in my mind this idea that the House of Cards would just fall from within. And I do think that that needs to happen. There needs to be, Guts has figured out the sword is not going to let him do it. And I feel like that's going to be the one thing that hopefully holds Guts back from getting taken over from the Berserker armor, is he's like, hey, dummy, if you think about it for 2 seconds, you know that there's no power you can swing that sword all day long. It's not going to do shit to Griffith. So what do we do then? I honestly think that one of the messages Miura has been trying to send this entire series, looking back on it, is the concept of violence just begets violence. It's just a cycle. The whole series talks about endless wars, whatever. And even in Falconia, there's still problems and strife and conflict. And I think it kind of relates to our own world so much in that you can destroy everything around you, but all you're going to do is you're not going to get rid of the violence. That was one of my favorite lessons from Attack on Titan, was as long as there are two people in the world, there will be conflict. And the answer is, do you fight that conflict with violence, or do you find some other way? And the other way is the hard one, because that involves a lot of patience, compromise, sacrifice, uncomfortability, vulnerability, negotiation, taking part of yourself and giving it up. It's not easy, and it's not the easy answer. But as a lot of series have shown us, it's the answer that's worth getting. So again, I don't think that Griffith deserves a redemption arc, but what I would like to see is if Griffith, if everything crumbled around him, because I think there's a lot of potential for it to crumble. I think that the whole thing with the pandemonium, that whole Colosseum, is like ripe to just implode from within, right? Because eventually the fighters are going to get to the point where their bloodlust gets so high from fighting there that they're going to want to extend that beyond. And then what do you do? So there's that. I think that the people there, eventually, it seems like utopia and there's endless resources, but if you keep getting everybody in there, eventually people are going to start arguing about things like they always have done, because we're humans and that's what we do. And then Griffith's going to have to deal with that. And he doesn't seem like he wants to deal with it. So what's he going to do in response to that? And then there's Charlotte, who just wants to be loved by him and he doesn't love her. So then what are we going to do with that? And then Sonia, she just wants to be loved by Griffith and she's okay with him using her as long as she gets something out of it, but that's going to reach a limit too. So everything's going to reach a limit. And I feel like while it seems perfect for Griffith now, it could all implode from within and erode from within over time it's just going to test us and take us that time to get there. So there's that. But I also think the fact the Moonlit Boy is part of him, it's fused to his vessel, that eventually I think is going to be his undoing, because he can't kill Casca or Guts, really. He can't fight him. He can't fight or kill Guts with the baby in him. He could, if he could have used Femto before being reborn. He could do that again, but no. He wanted to be king, so he wanted to get, reborn in the human world, and this was the price he paid, and now it's like, I feel like it's going to be his undoing. So there's that. But I don't, my problem is I wanted them to defeat Griffith, and I wanted Griffith to suffer, but I don't want the Moonlit Boy to suffer, because it's their baby. So it's like, what do we do with that? I don't know. There's so many different directions that this series could go. It's going to be interesting to see what Miura wanted to do with it. And I will be honest, seeing Mori's take on it, it does give me faith that Miura had a plan, because he said in an interview that he wanted Berserk to end good, because he's like, they've been through shit. How could we not let it end good? And I think that that's what your audience is like, going through all these struggles. It's a fantasy, so you want to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You want to see it end well. The big question is, at this point, how do you have them beat Griffith when you've set him up to be this infallible god? How do you have them beat Griffith and it come across in a satisfying way? And I'm going to anger a lot of Berserk fans, but I don't think a sword battle between Guts and Griffith is the answer. I think that Casca's, honestly, if the battle we got between Guts and Griffith from volumes 40 and 41 and this volume were the sword battles and showing how feudal it is, I think that's the point. There's too many Berserk fans that I feel are like, there just needs a big battle and it's bloody and everybody's dying. And I'm like, but that's not the point Miura has been trying to make the whole series. If you were paying attention to the story, then it's like, no, that's not the point. How we get to the climax, I'm sure there will be a battle. I'm sure it will be bloody. But at the end of the day, I don't think that the final confrontation between Guts and Griffith is going to be a sword battle. I want Guts to just walk up to Griffith and be like, look, and give him like exactly what Rickert did and give him a piece of his mind and be like, do not come after us again. And like take Casca and go and be like, you can have your castle and your palace, but I'm leaving. Bye. And then do like a Chinese Danmai and just go off in the distance and go do your own thing, right? So many Danmai that I've read are like, you know what? You guys got this whole political intrigue. You do whatever you want with the politics. We're going to go live in a cottage out this way. Bye. Because that was the thing too. I think it would tie in thematically with both Guts and Griffith, because you had Guts who started out being like that he had no home and he just wanted a sense of belonging, because Guts has always been somebody that has been ostracized and has been neglected since birth, literally. And he's never had a home or a sense of stability or something that has established his purpose. For him, his purpose was always his sword and his strength. But now we're seeing that falter. And again, I feel like that's a commentary on, men in society, that they think, oh, I have this strength. And my dad kind of falls in line with this. My own father, when we were younger, he'd be like, I'm super powerful, man. And I'm like, invincible. And we're like, oh, you're my dad, of course. But then as he's gotten older, you can see my dad get more frustrated because he's not strong like he used to be. He doesn't have his physical strength. And, he doesn't have his mental strength sometimes either. And I feel like for a lot of men, that's a horrific realization that your bodies will eventually stop being strong and your mind will eventually lose some of that luster. And when you don't have that strength, what do you fall back on? And I feel like Miura, being in his 50s, when he was at this point of the story, was probably coming to that conclusion as well. That when you're in your 20s, you think you're invincible. When you're 20, you're like, I'll get wasted, I'll be fine the next day, or I can jump off this building and I'll maybe break a leg, but that's it, I'm fine. And as you age and you get more mature, you kind of realize, shit, no, I can't get away with stuff I did when I was little. My bones aren't going to heal the same way they used to. And I can't take those chances anymore. So I feel like Miura, having wrote this in his 50s, was probably coming to the conclusion of, yeah, this is the end all be all big shonen battle that you see at the end of every series is not realistic and maybe not the direction I want to go with it. And I would personally like it if Guts at the end found his purpose helping others and being a source of strength for them, but not just swinging a sword. Like he's been a source of strength for Isidro. He's been a source of strength for Shirk. Like when Shirk lost Flora, he was there for her. He wasn't swinging a sword for her. He was literally there listening to her and being there for her. Him showing Farnesay about idol worship and stuff. Him literally taking down an entire religion. And I feel like there's so much the Guts does with a sword, but there's so much strength he gives without it. And the influence he has on others without even trying or even lifting that sword. I feel like that says more than his sword fighting in the series. So, this is all to say, off my pulpit, that I feel like Guts by the end, he could end up with Casca and his friends and be helping, you know, those around him. I think that's the happy ending for him, is that he gets a belonging, a sense of belonging, a home, a family. It doesn't have to involve kids. It doesn't necessarily have to involve any kids because there's the Moonlit Boy, but he could have a sense of belonging and purpose, and it's not just swinging a sword around. And that, I think, would be a good message too, because you have so many people that, you know, have been like veterans of war, things like that, that when they reintegrate into society, they're like, what do I do now? And I think Guts could be an example of what that could look like. So I'm hoping that that's the good ending for Guts. I feel like him confronting Griffith and being like, bye, is the answer to that. Then you have Griffith, who Griffith's whole thing was that he just wants power and glory and to be at the top of the ladder. Like for Griffith, honestly, Griffith's nightmare was what Guts's dream is. You know, Griffith's nightmare is Guts's dream. Griffith's nightmare was the cottage with Casca and being, you know, taken care of and being loved. Like he was like, I don't want any of this. And that was like not his power and ambition, right? He felt stifled by that. And so right now, Griffith is living his dream of being on top of the world and being like, I've got everything. And to me, I think the ultimate defeat of Griffith would be to be brought down to where he has to be visited by Casca and Guts when they want to see their kid. And he has to like deal with that. And he has to be humbled. And if I want his kingdom to be completely stripped from him, I want the entire people of Falcone to be like, you know, we could probably manage this ourselves. We don't need a monarchy. And just to strip him away. And for him to just be, he's not a god. People aren't worshiping him. And I want them to not worship him necessarily. And for him to just be this fallen relic and realize how powerless he truly is. And it's just all an illusion. But I don't know if the story's going to do that or not. So, oh my God. Anyway, so my plans with Berserk are, I have 2 videos I want to do. One involves Griffith specifically, so I might wear the wig again for that one. Who knows? And the other one is involving, the other video would just be a review of Berserk in its entirety. So I feel like the Berserk in its entirety, I'm going to do second because I want time to process what I've read and to go back through everything and to kind of like, so if you've not filled out that survey, I'll try to link it down below so you can fill it out. And I'll eventually shut it down, but I'll keep it up for now if you've not filled it out. But I do eventually want to go back and just review Berserk as a whole up until this point, and maybe by that time volume 43 will be close to coming out and we can go from there. But this doesn't feel real as I'm recording this. It does not feel that I'm caught up with Berserk. I feel like I should just be able to next week be like, okay, time for volume 43, and that's not where we're at. But now my watch has begun and I get to watch it with you all. I will say this, you know what? I was getting pretty upset with Berserk as a whole the last couple weeks, with volume 41 specifically. I was getting frustrated. And I realized that what it really was I needed to really take a step back and separate myself from Berserk for a while and let it kind of sink into my bones and then go back through it. And I still do have parts, as I'll talk about in the video, that I find frustrating and problematic with Miura and his storytelling and how he views certain things as okay. But as a whole, I do love Guts and his journey, and I feel for him. And I think Mori does an excellent job of captivating and capturing that feeling of just sorrow for Guts. Like, you just feel for him. You just want to hug him. And that's kind of where I'm at. So there's a lot to love with Berserk, and it took me taking a step back from it and taking a break from it to really appreciate how much I enjoy it. And I feel like that's what I need to do before the video essay, is to take a step back, let myself marinate in the story, go back through the volumes, go back through the other media and things like that, and really kind of immerse myself in it off screen and kind of decide what I want to write, and then come back and give you all something that's quality. And then, of course, doing the four horsemen of the I did nothing wrong apocalypse. That'll be a fun time. So there's so much I want to keep saying and keep talking about Berserk, but it's like there's so much unknown right now. So we've got to take a step back and figure out what I want to say. So I'll be reading your comments. I'll be collecting ideas and predictions. I'm sure in that video essay, I'll be making predictions of where the story can go to from here. But y'all, I cannot wait to hear your thoughts about where the story is now. Please no spoilers for the chapters that are beyond 373. I don't want manga spoilers for beyond 373, so please none of those. That way I can read volume 43 and enjoy it. So please. But in any case, this wig is getting hot and my dogs need to go out, so I'll leave you all to it. But I cannot thank you all enough for joining me on this journey with Berserk. It's not over. We're going to keep reacting to the volumes as they come out, but we're going to go on hiatus for a little bit. So that might be a good thing. As you saw this week. So I look forward to next week when we start a new series while Berserk is on hiatus. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back real soon with more Berserk. Bye.